Welcome to Tech Abilities, produced live in the Blind Abilities studio. I want to thank all of you for listening and for sending in your feedback. It's well appreciated. And if you want to send us some feedback, give us a call at 612-367-6093. Leave a message. We'd love to hear from you. Or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the tech tidbits and news that we cover in this episode. And you can use chapters. If your podcast player of choice has the chapters feature, go ahead, nibble away at this episode, or take it all in one big meal. That's the way it was designed. And chapters work good, and we love to make that feature available. So without further ado, let's get this show started.
The only way that might happen is if you have like temporary ones turned on, because mine stay in the notification center.
Aira.io on the web. Yeah, they'll be describing everything for you. Great stuff, great stuff.
And after, it killed Mr. Big,
This is horrible.
Let it roll. Roomba to the rescue.
it will probably outlive me.
Odyssey Quest.
Here's another Call of Duty, here's another Warcraft thing.
And honestly, if you can download and install things on Mac, it's actually easier on Windows, in my opinion.
To be honest with you, I don't even have a clue how to bring up emojis on Windows.
Windows plus period.
And as good as Focus seems like it is, it can be a fickled bugger.
A fickled what?
A bugger?
Here's the starting lineup for the Blind Abilities team. Serena Gilbert,
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Callie Gray,
Miami, Florida.
Jesse Anderson,
St. Paul, Minnesota.
Jeff Thompson, Fridley, Minnesota. Marlon Periajo,
San Juan, Trinidad.
Marlon who?
Periajo. He's a criminal analysis for the police department in Trinidad.
He's on the police department?
Yeah, and he's a Toastmaster.
Toastmaster?
Yeah, and he's on the team.
He's on the team?
Yeah, him and I do skits together, so he's on the team. Him and Trey got a skit coming up here.
Who's Trey?
Um,
Am I on the team?
uh-oh.
Get this Trey guy on the phone.
Marlon, I know why you're always in the cafeteria.
Okay, let's hear it.
You like bread, right?
Well, yeah, doesn't everyone?
Oh no, you're a master bread lover.
Master, I wouldn't say I'm a... No, not really.
You love toast, right?
Oh yes, toast good. Toast good.
That's why Jeff calls you the toast master.
That's not bread. And it's not toast like that.
Haha, gotcha, doughboy. Bye.
It's speaking. I'm a speaker. I'm a toastmaster.
He called you doughboy. Ha 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 ha.
That's enough out of you, Rin Tin Tin.
All right, live from the Blind Ability Studio, this is Tech Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson from friendly Fridley, Minnesota. And with me in the studio, we got Serena Gilbert. Serena, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome, Serena. So polite.
For now.
And down there in Florida, we have Callie Gray. How are you doing?
Hi, Jeff. Doing well. I have thawed out from our deep freeze we had earlier this week, so...
Deep freeze. 37 degrees.
Yes! I had to turn on the heat, so yes, it was a deep freeze.
So what was it like not having air conditioner sound for 2 days?
Nice.
It was weird, but we're back up into the 80s now, so life is back to normal. All is right in the universe.
As I sit here in a foot of snow and -2 or something. Wind chill.
That's not too bad. And sharing the winter weather here in Minnesota, Jesse Anderson. How's it going?
That would be me, yes. It is going actually pretty well today, all things considered. We're looking at 1 degree, as my phone tells me at the moment. So, yeah, and we're supposed to have a wind chill warning until tomorrow, so it's going to be ungodly cold. So I'm glad I'm not going anywhere.
This morning I woke up and it said -0, and I was wondering about that.
-0?
Yeah, I was waiting for it to warm up to +0,
Yeah.
Something must trigger it like fractions. You know what I mean? They round it.
Right.
But it must have been on that other side of the zero. Not -1 yet. Yeah. We've been living this for a while.
Almost there.
Yep. Well, we're hovering at 1 right now, so.
All the way from Florida up to Vermont. They got some huge wind chills and winter weather. Best of luck to all of you. AirPod Max. I see there's a sale that it's not a sale. They've just kind of discounted them $100 because I don't think they're selling, but Apple still has them at the original price. What, $549 or something like that? But Gucci, now that you're saving $100, you can probably afford this Gucci bag. Tell us about that Gucci bag. What's a Gucci bag?
If you don't know what Gucci is, then I can't help you.
I don't have one.
It's an Italian designer. So there's been lots of complaints about the AirPod Max carrying case. Like, I've seen it in person. I think, Jeff, you've seen it. It's goofy looking, and it doesn't even really protect them, in my opinion. It's just a piece of silicone with a button on it, or a magnetic button on it or something. And this Gucci thing is leather and has the Gucci logo on it and like a snap closure. And then it also has a leather strap so you can carry it like a designer purse.
It's adjustable strap.
Yes, of
that
course.
Probably jacked it up, a little bit.
It's, only, $980. But if you know the price of designer things, that's just how much that kind of stuff runs.
Yeah, but the price of the AirPod Max, originally $549, down to $449 with this sale, and we'll put the link in the show notes. That still isn't enough for me, even though I tried them, had them on for 2 days. It's not there. I think if it comes down to $349, that's a perfect price.
I don't think I'd do the $349 because I just fundamentally, the design does not work for me. I wish that they would release like a light version of them that's just a little bit smaller, and then I would be all for it.
Well, you could take a helium balloon, tie it to the top, and walk around like that.
Goodness gracious. They're so huge. You described on a previous show, it's like a helmet.
It is.
I don't think the size of them would bother me too much. I haven't had a chance to go to an Apple store recently. I have not actually heard them yet. I just want to know what the audio quality is like.
Oh, it's all there.
It's superb.
It's all there. Everything's there. It's great, the spatial. And you know what? The AirPod Pros, I'm wearing them like on the treadmill and stuff, and I turned my head, and with the spatial audio, it's like it moves over to the left ear if I turn to the right, and it moves around. Mm-hmm. So I was playing with it, and it's like, I really like it. It's a different type of sound, but it is spatial audio. That's a great name for it. So I like it.
They have the Maxes. Do they have the pass through where you hear things in your environment louder too? The Max headphones.
They have transparency mode.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was called, right?
Yep, it's got everything there, but I don't think they got the Atmos for them, do they?
Well, I don't think any of because they're wireless.
Things that make you go, come on, Apple. I think we talked about that last time, and the developer that works for Apple says, we're getting there. Like maybe there's going to be a new level of Bluetooth or go around that. Who knows? But something they did go around is the mask on the face. Now facial recognition on the Apple iPhone, you can do it without having, your accomplice, the watch, to do it. And I hooked it up. I'm running the beta. Works perfect. Put the mask on. Bang. I love that because when I'm in an Uber or something, you're in the back. You got to wear a mask. And then you open your phone and it's like, okay, I'm going to put the phone up towards this mirror and pull my mask down and do the facial, unless you're wearing your watch. And sometimes that doesn't work, but it's working really good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when they announced the whole mask thing in like the Apple Watch last year, I that was really my main question is like, okay, that's cool that you can use the watch, but like, why wouldn't they have designed it that way like from the beginning? Because that just really makes sense. So many people have an iPhone, but they don't have the watch. And it's like, I was really glad to hear that. So do you have to do like another recognition type of thing with your mask on so it recognizes your face, or does it just handle it pretty well?
Well, I got the beta and I went in to do the facial recognition and they had me redo it. So I redid it and they said I did not have to put the mask on to do that as an alternative or anything like that.
Oh, interesting.
It just uses a different part of the face. I'm not going to tell, but a different part of the face that it focuses in on and uses those markings, those characteristics to do it. We talked about AirTags. There was a Connecticut man that was arrested, and it's a felony. He put an AirTag in her car, and he has a restraining order, and, the police were called. They got a couple other charges on him, but that's interesting. That stuff is getting crazy. And one other thing that I saw on eBay, people have taken the AirTags apart and disassembled the sound, the speaker in them. So now you can't even hear them. So this is getting a little wild.
Every bit of cool technology, there's always some great thing about it, but somebody will always find the dark side and try to figure out how to make it do crazy stuff.
Yeah, I agree. People will find a nefarious way to use any kind of technology. But I do like the flip side of that story where I believe she was an army wife, where she used it when they were relocating and she left it in one of their moving boxes because the moving company kept calling her and saying, yeah, we're like, 3 days out or 4 days out. And they were literally like 4 hours away. And she was like, no, I'm tracking you. I know it. And it was the way she worked it out to get her stuff much quicker than the 3 days or 4 days that this company said it wouldn't be there. It was like amazing. The moving driver literally stopped to hook up with his woman. And
he had a little mini vacay on the way.
Yeah. He literally stopped and he reached out to the army wife, and said, hey, I'm sorry I was, passing through and hooked up and I'll get your stuff there, in 3 or 4 hours or something like that, and she got it, so that's a good way to use the AirTag, in my opinion.
That's actually brilliant. Like, if you're going to move somewhere, just put it in there and you can track them yourself where they are. That's brilliant, actually. I got to remember that.
Hey, Callie.
Yes?
The big Super Bowl game's coming up. You know that?
I do know the LA Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm. But the day before Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Thanks,
the day
NFL.
Before Valentine's Day, we got the Puppy Bowl.
Yay!
Heck yeah. Yeah, Puppy Bowl.
And that other bowl game.
I love the Puppy Bowl.
But Aira is doing a webinar type of thing, and we got the link right there in the show notes. So if you don't find it, or you can go to Aira.io on the web. Yeah, they'll be describing everything for you. Great stuff. Thanks for sending me that, Serena.
Well, it's super cool because they're doing the Puppy Bowl, and then they're also doing like the pregame, the coin toss, and the halftime show of the Super Bowl. And a few years ago, they did the halftime show when it was Adam Levine, and I listened to the descriptions, and it was actually really entertaining because I never knew how flamboyant he is sometimes with his moves. So that should be pretty interesting, and you can register for their webinar, or you can, if you have the Aira app, you can just go to Aira Live, and the Aira Live tab on there, and it'll be on there too.
You know what would be cool? If they could describe the commercials, because the commercials are the only reason I would ever watch a Super Bowl when the Miami Dolphins are not in it, which hasn't been in 50 years.
Which is never.
Yeah.
No.
But if they could describe the commercials, that would be awesome.
Well, we'll have to see what surprises they have for us, because there's another surprise. I thought you had to be an explorer, but no, you just have to be a guest. So you just download the app and just sign up, and you can use it for the COVID test and all that. And now, just to revisit that a little bit, I put a link in the show notes, and it shows you exactly what services are available through Aira, the COVID test, and the step-by-step processes to go through. And NFB joined up. They're supporting it now because they wrote a letter to the President of the United States.
So did the ACB. They both did on the same day.
Well, NFB is partnered up with Aira to help support the initiative to help people take the test. We'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. I just think it's something really good. NFB, ACB doing what they're doing to advocate for the blind, that keeping the White House on their toes.
I am curious, and sorry, we're pulling an audible. I love all this advocacy for some more accessible tests and things like that, but I am curious, what do you think is possible for making that test more accessible? What do you think could be done where it could be done independently?
I guess I'm not really sure how the tests work currently. Is it?
It's a swab.
Something where it changes color?
And it changes color.
It turns blue or pink.
Which doesn't work for someone who's even colorblind, if you really think about it.
Right, I was just thinking about that, yeah.
Maybe you could blow your nose into a Kleenex, drop it into something, and where can you go with this? But what the Kleenex probably has chemicals in it. I don't know.
I really am curious. Pregnancy tests aren't accessible either. Unfortunately,
Yeah, and I don't see a way a pregnancy test could be made accessible. You have to have sight to,
unless something raises when it's positive, or I just don't know. I'm being logistically serious. What could be done to make it accessible? And I'm not a scientist, but I'm it would be interesting to see.
I think the reason that people are like really worried about this is just because it's more of like it could be life and death kind of a thing, where it's like, oh God, am I gonna infect somebody, or do I test positive for COVID?
Well, yeah, it is a solo thing. You want to take the test, and if you're positive, you're fine. If you're negative, you walk out of the room and say, I'm negative. I like the idea that Aira agents are trained to do this test with you and help you through it. It's a quick and simple way of doing it rather than, like waiting for a book in high school that doesn't come for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. This is right now. And I think that's what the letters to the president meant, is like, we got to get on top of this so it's right now. I like that. Another thing about accessibility, Callie, you sent me crafting an accessible Instagram feed.
Yeah, Instagram, that is my favorite platform, even though I am blind. And I have a few friends. I only have 3 friends who routinely post alt text on their Instagram feeds. And I convinced one of my podcasts that I really love to start doing alt text on their feed, and they did. So I'm grateful for that. But it is fun. I just really like Instagram because you can curate it where you don't get any political mess. It can be your happy place to go to. And right now it's just so much easier. You get the information off the top, who the post is by, whether or not it's a photo or a video. Because if it says video, then I know I have to like double tap to open it and then double tap in order to play it and then go back after I'm done. And from that feed screen, you can swipe up to like or comment or send it or save it. I just think it has made the scrolling process a lot more enjoyable, because before it would take just a long time for me to go through my Instagram feed, but now it has cut the time more than in half for me to get through the feed. So they're still working on it. What they have done so far with screen readers, they're looking to make improvements for people with mobility issues and other things. But I am happy to see the progress that is being made for this platform. Now, all we need is that for everybody to add alt text to their photos. The reels and the stories are still not accessible. So whenever I get a notification that so-and-so has a new reel, I'm like, well, that's not gonna help me. So I just dismiss those. But Instagram is really just like a fun, happy place to be, because I just love the way you can curate it. You
have your notifications turned on, obviously.
Yes.
Can you limit them to just direct people that you want, or?
Yeah, you can. Like if a friend does a reel, I'm still going to get it. I think I can go in there and whittle it down to only posts, but I haven't gone that deep into it, but I think that you can. But the people who I get the notifications from, they're actually people I want to be notified about, when TTFA posts a new podcast, or when Nora, who hosts TTFA podcasts, does a live video, I want to be notified of that.
Oh, that's great. In my phone, I had to open up the app, and it was first thing it says, turn on notifications. No, not yet.
Oh, they're not excessive at all.
No.
Most of the notifications are more so if you post and people like it or comment. And then I'd say maybe what Callie once, maybe twice a day, it'll say such and such posted new reels, but it groups them all together. It'll be these 4 people just posted a reel or something like that, or you got a new follower. It's not like Clubhouse.
Oh gosh.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's minimal.
I put an end to
really
that
is.
the other day again, because they turned it back on again fairly recently, and I was getting them constantly.
On Clubhouse?
Yeah, we turned that off.
Well, and with Instagram too, they're non-intrusive notifications, so they don't buzz on your watch. They don't make noise on your phone. You just see them when you go and unlock your phone. They don't make any noise at all.
Yeah, I really do love Instagram, so it's my happy place.
I really like that they wrote an article just the other day about accessibility and Instagram. I mean, just seeing those 2 words in the same sentence is That article that we're posting in here is about the Android, but that was an example they're doing. And I'm sure they're looking at the iOS for your iPhone app. I think we're in for better Instagram accessibility eventually.
But Jeff, if you read further down into the article, they do talk about iOS. It is working on iOS.
It works very well on iOS.
Yeah.
With the 2 exceptions that Callie gave.
Yeah.
A really quick question. It's on a related note, and I think it's Twitter that's doing this. I've noticed lately where I'll have my phone locked, and on the lock screen, I get notifications but then I want to go do something else, so I unlock the phone, and then when I decide to look at notifications, I do the swipe down thing, and then there's no notifications there. Like, is anyone else seeing that, or is that like a different type of notification that only...
The only way that might happen is if you have like temporary ones turned on, because mine stay in the notification center.
Usually they do, but sometimes I do. Like, I had it earlier today where like there was one or two little short notifications, and then I unlocked my phone because I needed to check something else, but then when I went to go check said notifications, there was nothing there. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that.
Let me give you an example with Instagram. So go to settings, single finger double tap, go down to notifications, single finger double tap, then swipe on down to Instagram, single finger double tap. Once this opens up, you can see if you have notifications turned on. Once you turn that on, swipe to your right to alerts. And there's 3 alerts to choose from. Allow on lock screen, allow on notification center, and allow as banner. And you can select one of those, 2 of those, or all of them. So let's swipe to the right one more time. Your banner style is either temporary, or if you single finger double tap on that, you'll get the choice to be temporary or persistent. But let's go back and swipe again, and you can turn your sounds off or on. And then badges on, meaning that on your Instagram icon on your home screen or one of your pages, it'll show if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 messages, and it'll say 4, something like that. And then to show you the previews, you can have it set for always, when unlocked, or never. And you can do that for any of the apps that are in your iPhone. Go to notifications, then go down to that particular app and go through the same process.
Yeah, because I'm not really sure what even app they were from. I suspect they were Twitter, but I don't really know.
It could be a focus setting too if you are using any of the focus stuff. Because the templates for focus, some of them will have it where certain apps, like if you have it set like from 8 to 5, I like to, focus on work things where it won't show your social media notifications at all.
Oh, okay, yeah, I haven't really played too much with the focus stuff, so I can.
If you haven't turned it on, then it shouldn't be doing it because it's something you do have to opt into.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just curious since it kind of related to accessibility, because even visually they don't appear, so it's not just that VoiceOver isn't reading them, it's just like visually they're not even there.
And as good as focus seems like it is, it can be a fickled bugger sometimes. I set it up.
A fickled what?
Bugger?
Bugger.
What? Like booger? Bugger? What are you trying to say?
Well, I didn't want to say it can be very persnickety. Yeah, I mean...
Persnickety?
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you set it, you think you got it, and you all of a sudden 4 o'clock comes, and there's these messages that are all bundled up in this one thing. Do you like to look at those? Do you like to look at the ones that were in during Do Not Disturb, Do you want to see more? Do you want to see less? All this other stuff because it's time sensitive. There's so many little tweaks and stuff like that. It's like these scheduling to-do apps. I do not want to go into there and go through 8 a.m. to 8:30. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I just want to. I like where Do Not Disturb was before. I like that. I wish that was just the way it was, because that's all I need, especially during COVID. We're not having a meeting at 10 a.m. to 11. Well, a lot of us do have meetings at 10, whether they're online and stuff like that. I know I kind of outspoken myself there, but I use my calendar app a lot, and I use that, and it has notifications and stuff, so I get that. Focus, I turned it on in the beginning, and now I have eliminated it as much as I can.
Well, I still use Focus, but I use it in the old-fashioned way. Even though they have added all of these new additional features, I don't want all of those additional features. So I just turn on Do Not Disturb from 9:30 p.m. until 6 a.m. And the only calls that come through, as it was set before they did the update, are my favorites. And that's it. And I can just double tap and turn on Focus if I'm watching something on television and I don't want to be disturbed unless it's somebody from my favorites list.
Tuesday nights.
So I just keep it simple. I didn't set up all of these ones for work, for working out, for entertainment, for reading. I'm like, just turn it on and turn it off. So that's what I do.
Well, I did a demo of it, so I turned everything on and I was turning them off and all that stuff. So by the time I came out of it, I was thinking I was going to like this a little bit, because I do like having my phone on Do Not Disturb when I'm really working, editing, or in business stuff or whatever. I do like that because it's annoying. Or sometimes I'll just leave my phone in the other room. And that works great too, because you can really focus on what you're doing and not worry about the focus on your phone.
See, and I worry about turning it on during my workday because I have a young child in school and I'm the one that they call because I can literally walk right over and pick them up if I need to, should something happen at the school. Like the only time I turn on Do Not Disturb, honestly, is when we're podcasting.
Why, thank you.
Well, you can add your school's phone number to your favorites, and if they call you, it will come through.
However, a teacher could call from the office.
Yeah,
sometimes
right.
It says unknown.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And then doctors, when they call from any phone that they grab.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully my doctor is not calling between 9:30 and 6.
See, I wouldn't mind doing it overnight. Like overnight, it's not that big of a deal. But I have this FOMO though too. Like, what if my parents call and something happened in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
And I'm just too lazy to add a bunch of people to my favorites. I'm just gonna be honest. Like,
Serena, you sent me a message.
I did.
And I was shocked.
Uh-oh.
Well, I wasn't shocked. It's been out for a little bit here, but even Lori was wondering if she should do it or not. Windows 11. You download it, you installed it.
I kind of got forced to in a way.
Oh, really?
Because they made it inconvenient not to opt in.
They, like Chuck?
Microsoft.
Oh, okay.
I just opened my laptop one day and it was like, you're ready for Windows 11. And I was like, I tried to hit skip and stuff and then it just was obnoxious. And I was like, fine, I'll just let it install. Because I heard lots of people talk through it and say it's really not that much different, which I haven't noticed a ton of difference. I know visually it looks quite a bit different. The only things I've ran into so far that I'm just like, I don't understand is I use the emoji panel a lot to add emoji to like social media posts and things.
You are the emoji person there.
I am. I love emoji. That's a little bit different. I think I figured out how to use it, but it is different than it's been working the last like 5 years. And then I used to be able to just hit start and type this PC to essentially get to my file explorer, and that doesn't work anymore. So I just do Windows E and that brings up the file explorer. They must have gotten rid of this PC thing because nothing comes up when you type this. It starts trying to search the internet. But it seems pretty fast and spiffy, and I haven't had any issues. Like I haven't found anything that JAWS isn't working well with because I have JAWS 2022 and the download was only 4 gigs, which is saying something because I just downloaded 15.4 beta and that was like 10 gigs or something ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, it seemed larger than that.
It was huge. You know what? You have the developer one, so there's probably different things shipped in the developer one versus the public beta.
I may be wrong, Serena. I may be wrong.
But I was like, how is my iPhone update like 10 gigs and this Windows one 4? Like,
it took a long time. It really did. It was like, things that make you go, I updated my software system on my Mac. And you know what? VoiceOver came on early. And I could 87%. 89%. Yeah, it goes right to it. And I can move around. Apple logo. And then you go down and it says 22 minutes. And then after about 4 minutes, it says 12 minutes. But it was really neat to have that feedback. That was really something.
Because you always wonder, like, because I have some residual vision, so I can usually tell if something's moving along. But without having any vision, you always wonder, did it freeze? Is it done? Like, what's going on? So that's cool that they did that.
It goes to black screen and then it waits a little while. And then all of a sudden, Apple appears again. You know, I mean, just a white little spot. That's how I can tell. And that the apple's up there. And then there's a little bar that goes across. But now on my Mac, it gave me that feedback. So that's really cool that they're entering that zone, that's a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Jesse.
Yeah.
You are using Windows 11.
Yeah, I'm using it right now, actually. I've been using it, well, I've had it on a little test Surface Go for quite a while. I've been tinkering with it here and there. But on my primary home PC, I've been using it now since Halloween, which is when I got my new rig, new desktop, and I'm really liking it so far. And it really does. It really does feel kind of like a Windows 10.5. If you're used to Windows 10, it's very similar in a lot of ways. The start menu is definitely different if you use the start menu. Your tiles are gone, and instead you have like a few different little icons at the top, and then some of your recent documents and things below that. But then if I use the start menu for anything, I pretty much hit the Windows key and I just search for whatever.
Me too.
That's pretty much the way I use it.
Mm-hmm.
The way I do it is I hit Windows E, and then if you go to the folder options, you can default it like the first control you land on instead of I forget what the other one is called, the default one, but the combo box you can just drop down and change it to this PC.
Okay.
Because even Windows 10 did that. It would open to like this recent view or something. I always just change it to this PC so that when I hit Windows E, boom, it takes me right there. So that's a quick way to get around that. That's the way I roll too. The other thing to know is if you are looking for accessibility things, in Windows 10 they called it ease of access. And now, just to kind of conform to industry standards, I think, it's all under accessibility.
As it should have always been.
I guess they were trying to get away from because when people think accessibility, they think, well, this isn't for me, that's for them disabled people, And they were trying to get people to say, hey, no, if you want to make your computer easier to use, check under here. They're just trying to get around that a little bit, but I think they've gone back to it. And then when you go into various areas of the settings app, they arrange things differently. They basically have the main screens are like a beginner mode kind of a thing where it's just like your surface level options. But then a lot of things, if you want to delve more deeply into it, you can expand that section. And it'll go to another screen. So if you go to Windows Magnifier, you have a few general options, but then if you want to dig down and make a few other advanced changes, you can go into the view item and dig in a little bit. But otherwise, it's been really fast. It's been stable. I haven't really had any crashing issues. Windows 11 has been pretty great. I've been using it a lot.
Serena, thumbs up?
I just upgraded on Friday. Other than the obnoxious emoji thing, it seems to be better.
Can't help you with emojis. I'm sorry.
I'll figure it out. It's just arranged differently. But in Windows 10, they weren't. I don't know how to describe it. So, you know how on iOS, well, if you're using VoiceOver, and Callie, you might know, and Jeff, I know you know, the way that it describes the voice, it'll be woman raising hand. Mm-hmm. On Windows 10, it would be hand symbol, raising hand, female symbol, it would read it weird. And you're like, oh. But so they whatever they did fixed that because it doesn't read them funky anymore. It actually has the universally recognized labels for them, which is cool.
Oh, that's good.
To be honest with you, I don't even have a clue how to bring up emojis on Windows.
You do Windows plus period.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, it shows you how much I use them.
Any place you can type, you can use that shortcut to bring it up.
Okay.
I'm still running Windows 10.
It still works great.
As I was telling Jesse when we were doing the pre-show, I am not skilled on my PC. I don't know how to download. And once something is downloaded, how do I install it? I know how to do that on my Mac, but I don't know how to do that on the Windows PC. So that's something I'm going to have to work on because I know eventually I'm going to get the screen that Serena got that says, you need to upgrade to Windows 11
it
or it won't let me
get it.
Yeah,
it does. So. It's pretty foolproof.
And honestly, if you can download and install things on Mac, it's actually easier on Windows, in my opinion.
I think so too, because usually it's just an exe file, whereas Mac,
you have to do all these weird permissions.
Sometimes you have to actually run an installer, and sometimes you just have to copy things to a certain place, and so that confuses me.
I don't have any trouble updating anything on the Mac. It's just basically it wants to unload, and then you have to give it permission, put in a password, and let it do it. But it won't let anything install unless you get that password thing.
Mm-hmm. Which is annoying.
Windows is like the wild, wild west. They just go for it. If you want to install it, go ahead.
Yeah, worst you got to do is Alt-Y for yes in the UAC dialog. Alt-Y.
So it sounds like people can update the Windows 11. Last year we were talking about Peloton and we're talking about Concept 2 rowing machines. People were asking me about accessibility. And I think if people have an Apple Watch, I just say start rowing activity. And boom, it gives me the 3, 2, 1, and I start rowing. I don't have to rely on the monitor thing that has accessibility in there and it does give out cadences and stuff. But I just like doing it because usually when I'm rowing, I'm just in my head, thinking about stuff, listening to podcasts or listening to music or whatever I'm doing. And then I get my stats from the watch. And that's what I do on the treadmill too. And the only thing I've done on the treadmill is put a couple bump dots on start, stop, and speed up, speed down, incline up, and incline down. And they're different ones. I use fuzzy ones, like little felt ones. So they're real soft and you just push right on them. I like those better than the bump dots to push because bump dots are really hard and they sit in the middle of the area that you're pushing, so that can crack it because it's not like a finger pushing. It's out hard like pushing a pencil eraser down right in one spot. How about the Peloton bike? Serena, you do anything accessible access-wise?
So I think it's called TalkBack on it because it's an Android tablet that the screen is essentially. So I run that every single time. I don't have any tactile markers on it. I've just kind of learned what part of the screen to touch to get the information that I want while I'm writing. And then it also calls out your cadence and how much your effort you're putting in, I guess. I forget what that second one is called. And your resistance every 2 minutes while you're writing as well. And then I have the one where I can turn on auto follow. So as the instructor is calling out resistance levels, it will automatically adjust up or down based on...
Whoa.
Yeah, you can't do it in live classes because I think they have to actually program it. Mm-hmm. But on the on-demand ones, it just adjusts up and down automatically, which helps significantly.
You like that?
I do, because I don't have to stress like, oh my gosh, am I in the right spot? Am I not? And I can just focus on the actual workout.
Yeah. Well, this year, Blind Abilities Fantasy Football, the winner this year, the champion this year, Pete Lane. He won the championship this year. He did a good job this year. He thought he was going to lose, but he made it. But if anyone's interested in playing fantasy football for the Blind Abilities League, just send us an email or give us a call. The email would be info@blindabilities.com or give us a call at 612-367-6093.
Perfect rhythm, Jeff. Thank you.
I'm trainable.
Working on it. Bum, 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 bum.
Perfect. Perfect rhythm there. Activision and Blizzard were acquired by Microsoft. We were going to talk about this before, but we got the man. We got Jesse the Gamer, Mr. Illegally Sighted himself, here to talk about it. Jesse, give us a little brief on that.
Yeah, so usually gaming news is rather slow during the holidays. Everyone does their Game of the Year thing and whatever, and then for the first month or two, it's fairly slow. But last week, I believe it was like Tuesday, I woke up and I saw this tweet and I was like, no. You know how everyone does these speculations and rumors constantly? I thought it was just, oh yeah, here's another thing that, oh, they're going to possibly buy this, that, and the other thing.
$68 billion.
Yep. And then I just kept reading more and more, and nope, it's actually a thing. Microsoft is buying Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion, which is really crazy. And we've talked about them last year with all the, shall we say, inappropriate behavior and all the things that has been through Activision Blizzard as of the last several years, but it's really come to attention in the last year or two. I'm kind of undecided whether it's a good or a bad thing. On the bad side, everything now seems to be bought by some other big company, like Disney owns everything, or Microsoft or Apple or Amazon owns everything.
Or Sony.
Yep, we'll get there too. That was this week's surprise. But on the other hand, maybe it's a way that Microsoft can get some of the old executives and management that is allowing all those terrible things to happen, kind of restructure Activision Blizzard again and make it better.
What does it mean for accessibility?
Well, that's the thing, is people are speculating on that too, and it's really too early to say because they still have to get it approved. Like their intent is to buy Activision Blizzard. It has to go through, I forget, what is it, like FCC or FTC or something like that. I mean, everything has to be kind of approved, and people were speculating, could this even happen? Because, with Microsoft in the 90s and their whole antitrust hearings and things like that, is this kind of another thing? And I don't think it is, because they have, there's a lot of other different markets. You've got your Sony, Nintendo, Steam.
Look what Apple's bought over the last few years.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple has taken what Microsoft was doing on steroids.
Mm-hmm. For accessibility-wise, it could be good. They've been doing a lot of different things accessibility-wise, just like on a lot of their games, on a lot of their services. You can look in the Xbox store now. You can search their game store for different accessibility tags. So you're like, oh, does this have text-to-speech? Does this have colorblind filters? Does it have whatever? You can actually search for that.
Oh, really?
Yes, in the Xbox store and in the Windows Xbox store for Windows. So,
but is the search accessible?
Yeah, of course. Yes. No, actually it is. So they've been doing a lot there, and they've just been doing a lot of initiatives as well with accessibility. There's actually a Xbox Gaming Accessibility Fundamentals course, and I think it's free and anyone can just take it. I've been meaning to peruse it and just see how in depth it is, and I kind of want to go through it myself just to see what's all involved in that. So it could give more resources to these companies, and if they have, let's say, accessibility as one of Microsoft's key principles, maybe that can filter down into those studios.
I just see Activision, Blizzard having a solid foundation now, no matter what. Microsoft is kind of a mountain that they just got adopted onto. Now tell us about Sony. Sony just made a big acquisition.
They did. And well, in Activision Blizzard, they were big on their own. I mean, but the problem is they had these 2 or 3 franchises that they really just got stuck into, like, oh, we're just going to release this annually. Here's another Call of Duty. Here's another Warcraft thing. Here's another, it's just the same kind of thing. So maybe there's been interest in going to their back catalog because Activision's got a lot of classic gems they could revive. But Sony, this week we got a surprise, and it's ironic because Sony bought Bungie. And for those unfamiliar, Bungie used to be a Microsoft exclusive studio. They were the ones that put the Xbox on the map because when the original Xbox launched, they launched with Halo Combat Evolved, and that's what really sold the system. And they quit making Halo several years ago, and they turned it over to another game development studio. So 343 Industries, they're making Halo now. Bungie, they've moved on to making this Destiny series, and now Sony owns them because I think what really Sony wants is they have a lot of their big single-player titles, but they want the industry is kind of going with this live service. We want these ongoing games where people subscribe and keep forking over continuous amounts of money. Bungie will give them more of that, I think.
So we have to wait and see. But it seems like they're purchasing things up left and right all the time. Callie.
Yes?
Are you a gamer?
Not really. Like when I had Vision, I was really hardcore into Candy Crush. But that was like it. So like, no, I'm not a gamer.
How about Sortie Quest?
No. It's like for me, and Godspeed to the people who don't have vision who can get into gaming. I'm just not that person. I just can't. So it's one of those things, Jeff. I let it go.
How about Wordle?
God, no. I have muted that on my Twitter timeline because I just don't care. I don't care. But like I said, the dude sold it to the New York Times for they said a low 7-figure sum. So people are guessing around $2 million. And I say more power to him developing that game and sold it for that amount of money. Good for him.
That was quick.
Oh, yeah.
They jumped on that pretty quick.
Yeah, they did.
Serena, you're a little bit of a gamer. Sortie Quest?
I haven't been on Sortie Quest in months now.
Oh,
I just haven't had the time. And I'm in the group and I see all these things and there's all these, I'm like, this seems overwhelming for me to go back and try to figure out what to do now because they've added so much to it.
Yeah, I keep seeing their updates in the list. And it's like, holy crap. I just read the list and
there's universities and
there's like character classes and magic and just all kinds of crazy stuff.
Was he talking about branching a game off of that?
He said he was going to develop, on the interview you and Jesse did with him, a space version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That might be cool.
Wow. What would that be called? Space Quest.
Space Quest?
No,
Space
that's
Quest.
copyrighted.
That's
already, that's probably not going to work. That's, wasn't that like an old TV show? Space Quest?
I've never heard of it.
I remember Johnny
No,
Quest.
there's actually a video game. I think it was an old
Space.
Sierra game.
And I remember Johnny Quest.
No, there's a Sierra game. I think it was an old point-and-click adventure called Space Quest, I think.
He's probably sitting on Google going through 7,000 different names. Nope. Clown Quest. That's it. It'll be Clown
Odyssey
Quest. Odyssey Quest. Wow. Callie, you go to the Miami Lighthouse.
Yes, I do.
What are you learning lately? What's your thing?
Well, my thing is I'm trying to learn Braille. Okay. And I've come to realize after, because I started learning Braille actually 1 year and 1 day ago on February 1st, 2020. And we worked on it for 3 months. And then I left the program and I started back in October of 2021. So there was a 6-month gap. So I'm still on Braille grade level 1.
Mm-hmm.
I can type it with no problem because I have a Bluetooth. It's the Orbit Writer that I got from AT Guys.
Oh,
so
wow.
I can type Braille fine. Reading it is a totally different thing. So I'm like just not doing well in that area. I am improving. My instructor is telling me I am improving, but I'm like, I'm just not seeing it because I just figured, I'd be like, my fingers would just be like sliding all over the page back and forth, and I'd be, able to read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in like no time. But, I'm like, it's not going to happen like that. So I've dialed back my expectations about Braille and how I'm going to use it in my life. So it will work out, but it's not going to be the way I expected it to work out. And I learned from your podcast last year, I think Serena and Jesse were talking about how, like, if you get a job, you're not going to bring your Braille note touch, to work, to like hook up to the work computer because it most likely won't be allowed and it'll probably just be really inefficient for your workflow. But, I don't know, but I just don't think it's going to be used the way I had it in my mind last year.
Well, what a lot of people will do is use refreshable Braille along with their regular keyboard. So they just have refreshable Braille so they can reach down and verify something or another, something like that. But what a teacher did to me when I was learning Braille is she asked me what was the last book I read. I told her and she ordered it for me. I ordered it, and these 8 boxes show up at the front door.
Oh my goodness.
But you know what? I knew what it was. Like, it wasn't Dr. Seuss, but a regular book, Indica Gold. But what she had me do before that was a simple book like Green Eggs and Ham. You know that book, kind of, even though you might not be able to recite it, but you know how it's going to go, the flow, the rhymes, something like that. You kind of get that recognition of the dots and the flow, and they're usually, because they're children's books, they're usually in grade 1. So that might be something. It's just something fun, simple, and that's how you get going on it.
Well, one thing that I did when I got the Orbit Braille Writer, it came with a card written in Braille. So I told my instructor, my goal is to be able to read what is on this card like one day. I'm not sure if it's a thank you note. I don't know what it is because it's in contracted Braille and we haven't gotten there yet. Mm-hmm. I mean, thanks to you, I do know that 1/6 is CH. So
there you go.
That's the only one that I know right now. But, my goal is, to be a happy day if I can like read that card in one sitting and not take 2 days, because that's going to be my goal. So Braille and orientation mobility is my other thing that I'm learning right now. So we'll see how that goes. And I threw a question out to the Twitterverse and I haven't gotten any responses. I'm like, because I want to adopt a dog. I've only had 2 dogs in my adult lifetime. One I had for 17 years and the other one I had for 14. And I had sight when I had those dogs. And I really want a dog. And I just don't know if that's even doable for someone like me.
Oh, it's totally doable.
Oh, totally. Sure it is.
Not a service dog, but just a pet dog. Because I'm not sure how do I walk a dog? How do I pick up after, the dog when, we're walking? So those are questions that I have.
That's easier than you think, Callie, the picking up after.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
It's very clear. Yeah, because especially if you have a boy dog, it's a lot easier to tell when they're going number 1 or number 2. Girls do the same thing both times, but I mean, it just depends on the type of dog you have too, but I think you'd be able to tell when they go. And then when you know that they're going, you trail the leash back to them and you know exactly where it's at. Especially if you raise it from a young pup, they'll know that that's just what you do. They won't startle and like not want to poop in front of you.
Okay. No, it won't be a pup for sure.
It sounds weird. You might join. I know you don't want a service dog, but some of the questions that you have are the same ways that a service dog is taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Oh.
Typically, they come to a stop. They're not walking in circles anymore, and they come to the
you
stop.
Can tell.
And you kind of move in closer, and you brush your hand down their back, and it's arched, and you know what's going on. Then you place your foot where you believe the exit point is, and
while they're still going,
and you're still
you won't step in it.
No, it's just a marker. Believe me, you get turned around real quick. So as soon as they get done, they'll prounce around and you let them go on their leash, and your foot is still there. You get your bag ready, and it's right in front of that foot by about a foot or something. That's your area, but don't lose track of your foot right there, and you'll find it. Believe me, you'll find it.
Yeah, it's easier than you think.
But if the dog gets up and you turn with the dog and trying to get him to sit or
you'll
do
never
that, you'll never find it. But that's part of the trick.
No, don't use a retractable leash either.
Oh, okay.
Retractable leashes
you
are
want a
horrible
nice leather one, nice strong leather. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, because like as I'm getting older, because like I'm going to have like a major milestone birthday this year. And like at this point, where if I get the dog young enough, it will probably outlive me. So I just need to I want to do this, soon, because I'm like, I'm not getting any younger here. And I just, and I just really love dogs, and being blind, just having that security, because they're kind of like a home security alarm, in a way also. So that's why I want to do it. But
no, you can absolutely have a dog.
I don't know what kind of breed you like, but it might be helpful for you to look into getting the service dog dropouts, because they're trained to go to the bathroom on they're not usually dropouts because they couldn't go to the bath. It's usually something like they did manhole covers.
They smile. They show their teeth, or something. There's just one little thing.
It's nominal. But I guarantee you, they know how to, if you say, go do your business, it'll be easier. The training thing, I think, would be the hardest if you got a puppy being blind, because of the cleaning up after them. Because a puppy is going to have a lot of accidents, and typically in a house. And that's hard to clean up when you're non-visually.
Well, I would definitely crate the puppy.
Oh, they'll still have...
Well, no, I've had dogs, and the crate training has worked for me. I've never had a puppy though. All of the dogs I have adopted have been 2 years or older, and they were generally already housebroken when I got them, but I did crate them just in case, so we can get in our own rhythm, because I was working at that time also. So that's what I would do, but yeah, I just really got to figure this out, because I do want that.
The other thing is get your set of brushes, because dogs shed.
And a Roomba.
Yeah.
You know what? I wish I could get a Roomba, but when I remodeled my place in 2019 and we laid these floors, and the carton specifically says I can't use a vacuum with brushes on them because it'll probably scratch them.
If it's hardwood floors, you will totally be fine. We have hardwood floors, and that's what we use, is the Roomba.
It's really rewarding when you open it up and you find a small gerbil type size of hair.
I thought you were going to say a gerbil.
No. They are handy. At first, I was very apprehensive about getting one, and I was like, yeah, right, But, it's one of those things that...
You can tell the difference.
Yeah, it works. It's a constant thing, and it works good on carpet. Goes right up on the rugs and goes across, and it has a little mind of its own, and I stopped trying to figure it out and let it do its thing, and it's all fine.
Wow.
The Shark does use a brush, but it's not... I wouldn't say it was damaging or anything, because they make these ones now to be able to, because most people that get them because they don't want to sweep their hardwood floors every day. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that, Callie, honestly. And there is a small, I don't know how to describe it. It is a small, I don't know, how do you describe it? A whisker, I guess, where it cleans the corners out for you. If it's in a corner, it'll kind of just pull out stuff.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a 3-prong whip thing that goes along there, and it just knocks it out from the...
Pulls out dust.
Yeah, and then it sweeps it right up, and it has a mind of its own. And if you want, you can get the one that has the Wi-Fi, and then you can lock out that room. So it'll come to a certain spot, and you might need sighted assistance, because some of them have a little map.
Yeah, we haven't figured that out.
Yeah, some of them have a map, or they have a strip, like a 6-foot magnetic strip that you lay down, and then it'll avoid that. And then when you open up the app, you can go in and draw that line where it's not supposed to go, and it will recognize that stuff. So it's interesting. I haven't gone that deep in. I don't have that one. Serena has one that probably does it.
Yeah, we've never cared. I just close the doors where I don't want it to be done. I don't let it go in the bathroom, because that's where Weston's water is. So I don't want it to accidentally knock over a water bowl. And then I don't let it come in my office, because I have too many cords. And I just don't feel like... It's never eaten a cord or anything. I just don't feel like risking it.
Yeah.
But now they have the ones, and we talked about that one. It identifies even if it's a pile of dogs.
It avoids the
accident.
poo.
No way, really? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yep.
Because that's a common thing that people complained about, was that they would have it run and it would vacuum up the dog poo.
Oh my gosh.
And then put it everywhere else because
That's not good. Yeah, in the wheels and the thing. But it'll avoid obstacles.
So it doesn't fall down the stairs.
And it recognizes cords, so it avoids it. Like anything, we got used to it. Like before I started up, I do my routine thing. I walk around, I make sure all the shoes are up, so the laces aren't there. I go around to where I plug in stuff, and they're up.
Lift it up.
But it's a routine. So within 3 minutes, I'm ready. And, Let it roll. Okay. Roomba to the rescue.
It's a lifesaver. Mine empties itself too.
It does? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's like this little base that it charges it and it empties itself. And there's a small vacuum cleaner bag in there, probably the size of what, like, it's not a huge vacuum cleaner bag, but you only have to change it every couple months, honestly.
Boom, boom.
And that's with us we only have one dog now, so his hair is not nearly as much as it used to be when we had the two. But when it's done, you know when it's emptying because it's loud. But it's just like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I just have a cat, and she does shed. So, but I just do my normal cleaning, sweeping, and then go behind with the duster for that. Yeah. My floors are not hardwood. They're what they call vinyl plank flooring. It looks like wood.
Oh, it'll definitely be fine on the vinyl plank. That's actually got a thicker coat on it than wood does.
Okay.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I will check it out. Okay.
Serena, you're going to get on your Peloton, aren't you?
That is my hope, because I've got 2 days in a row, and when I start getting like streaks, I don't want to break them. And last night I did a 20-minute ride, and I was like super into it. And then he was like, all right, we're all done. I was like, what the heck? Like, it's done already? Like,
after this month of being in that cold funk and stuff like that, I started out on the treadmill and the Concept 2 rowing, and we got a universal gym set. So been starting to pick that up a little bit. So I'm starting to get into some consistency. So better health.
I noticed such a difference because the reason I'm trying to make an effort this week now is, like, last week I made it a point to ride it. I think I rode it 3 or 4 times last week, and I was more productive all week. Like, I was more focused, like, I got a lot done last week and the time that I had, and I'm like, I really do think that's probably related to it, and I just feel better. So
yeah, people say that about exercise, that it makes you feel better, you feel focused. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to exercise, because, like, I don't have the room for like a treadmill or anything in my apartment, so I wanted to join a gym, and I do have a Planet Fitness that's less than a mile from me, but it's like everything is inaccessible there.
I was just thinking that it's so hard, because even finding an empty bike, it's like, what do I do?
Right.
Yeah.
But a Peloton, like, they're pricey, but they don't take up as much room as people think. They take up about a 2x4 foot spot.
Yeah, that's what a friend told me, because she has one, and she was going to do a GoFundMe to get me. I'm like, no, please don't do a GoFundMe to get me a Peloton.
I would try it first if she will let you, like, for a week or maybe over a 2-week period, ride it about 7 to 10 times, because she can set up an account for you on there for free. Try it out first, because it does take, like, the first week you ride it, you're like, this is horrible. Like, this hurts. Like, it's not like a bike seat like when you were a kid. The seat's way smaller and far less comfortable.
I think that would be very uncomfortable.
It is.
And right now with Peloton, because from what I understand, they've got, like, they can't sell Pelotons right now.
It's just the tread that they can't.
No, it's the bike. I read an article about their stopping production because they have
too many.
Yeah, because during the pandemic they couldn't make them fast enough and they overproduced them, and now they've got like too many. They've actually stopped making the bikes at this time.
Well, if they want to encourage people to get up and use them, maybe they could drop the price, huh?
Yeah.
They actually did drop the price at one point.
No, they raised it now technically, because delivery and setup was free, and now it's $200 to $300. Yeah.
$250 for the bike and $350 for the treadmill. And I was like, ugh.
Well, they have 2 versions now. Or is that just one comes with a bigger screen or something like that?
So yeah, they've always had 2 versions of the bike. It's the screen size that's different, and then you can't auto follow on the lower end model.
Whoa.
And then they have 2 versions of the tread, but the big version is the one that's recalled that they don't produce anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not that the tread's not accessible.
Yeah, but I don't think I would enjoy cycling, because when I had sight, I had a beach cruiser and I loved biking, but I was outside and going somewhere. It was like, I just don't think, because like when I had sight and I would go to my local YMCA, I would always pass the studio where they were doing the cycle. We were doing the cycling. I was like, yeah, that is not for me. I'm just like, it's just not, because I'm pedaling and I'm not going anywhere. I just
love the instructors.
I would just find that so frustrating, because
the instructors.
On my beach cruiser, it was like I could just ride around the beach on the boardwalk or around it was nice, but I don't see myself. And after, it killed Mr. Big, I'm not thinking.
Oh, that's so funny that everyone keeps saying that. Like,
oh man. That's not the only thing that's in the city.
I don't really have much exercise equipment, but I use my electronic drum kit as my exercise equipment.
Boom, boom.
Oh, good for you, Jesse, because you get to get your arms moving, you get your feet going too, and everything.
Oh yeah, I was jamming for a good 45, 50 minutes today. I just flew by. I'm like, oh, this is fun.
Do you track it with your Apple Watch, Jesse? Does it like tell you how many calories you've burned?
I just put it on other because there's no drumming.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just put it on other and then do it that way.
Well, stick around, folks. In a couple more episodes, we might have Callie, the jazz drummer.
Well, no, you won't, because I share walls, so I don't think my neighbors on either side would like that.
He uses headphones.
Actually, no. See, the cool thing is that's the thing is I have an electronic drum kit. It's like a real trap set drum kit. They're rubber pads, so yeah, you'll get a little bit of like me kind of tapping a rubber little thing.
They think he's a tap dancer.
Yeah, God, no. I mean, that's really all you hear, and it's got a jack on the side where you can plug headphones in, and then it's got another jack where I run my iPhone through it, and I just have my Google Music playlist. I queue it up and randomize it, and just try to learn songs as I go.
Wow, okay, that sounds interesting. And I could see myself doing it in the middle of the day because both neighbors on each side go to work during the day, so I could probably make all the noise that I want at that time.
Yeah, I try not to do it later.
Yeah.
Like I would love to do it right now because I'm actually wide awake right now and I could totally jam for a half an hour, but I don't know.
I would so love to do the drum solo from Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. Oh God, if I could master that piece, that would be, instead of doing the air drum version of it.
There you go. Well, Serena, time to get on that Peloton. I want to thank everyone for listening in. If you want to give us a call, the number is 612-367-6093. We'd love to hear from you and from all of us here at Blind Abilities and the Tech Abilities Show. Stay well, stay informed, and stay strong. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Until next time, bye-bye.
And then cue our funky music, right?
And for more podcasts with the Blindness Perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities, and give us a call at 612-367-6093. Leave us a message and let us know if we can put your voice on the next podcast. Drop us an email at info@blindabilities.com and download the free Blind Abilities app from the App Store and Google Play Store. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities. And from all of us here at Blind Abilities, through these challenging times, to you, your family, and friends, stay well, stay informed, and stay strong. I want to thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye-bye.